Hello humans, another lovely update from your once great global empire, now turned a living dystopian nightmare. The UK government, under Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood, plans to establish a new national police service, explicitly dubbed a British FBI, as part of major policing reforms. This new entity will consolidate national level functions like counter-terrorism, serious organised crime investigations, currently handled by the National Crime Agency, fraud and other complex crimes into one centralised force. The goal is to modernise policing, let local forces focus on everyday issues like shoplifting and antisocial behaviour, and potentially reduce the number of existing forces for efficiency and cost savings. It's framed as the biggest shake-up since Robert Peel's 1829 reforms, with details due on Monday. This is coming from Reuters. Britain's government said on Saturday it will create a new national police service described as a British FBI to modernise policing and deal with terrorism, fraud, organised crime and other complex criminal activity. They're slapping British FBI on this like it's some sexy rebrand to make centralisation sound heroic. We've heard this tune before. Back in the day, they gave us the Serious Organised Crime Agency, then the National Crime Agency, and somehow the drug gangs and people traffickers are still running rings around us. This smells like yet another power grab dressed up as modernisation, centralising more control in Whitehall while the Home Secretary bangs on about terrorism and fraud. Be sceptical. This is less about catching the bad guys and more about creating another layer of unaccountable bureaucracy that answers to ministers rather than local communities. Classic globalist sleight of hand, promise tougher action while quietly hoovering up power. The new force will bring together the work of the National Crime Agency, which investigates serious organised crime such as drug smuggling and people trafficking, with other countrywide roles like counter-terrorism and national road policing. Merging the National Crime Agency, already a national outfit, with counter-terror and road policing into one shiny superforce. On paper, it sounds efficient, cut the overlap, streamline the chain of command. But here's the thing. The National Crime Agency's track record is patchy at best. Serious organised crime hasn't exactly been 10-8'd under their watch. County lines are still thriving. Albanian gangs are running the cocaine show in half our cities, and grooming gangs. Community issues, they still get soft treatment because nobody wants the two-tier policing headache. Centralising this lot risks turning it into an even bigger target for politicisation. Imagine the Home Secretary's pet priorities, whatever flavour of the month the left decides, getting the lion's share of resources, while local police forces are left chasing shoplifters with their shoelaces tied. Once appointed, its chief, the National Crime Commissioner, will be the most senior officer in the country. Currently, the head of London's Metropolitan Police is Britain's highest-ranking law enforcement official. This is straight-up power consolidation. Dethroning the Met Commissioner as top dog and installing a new National Crime Commissioner, that's not modernisation, that's a quiet coup against the traditional structure. The Met's already a political football, but now we're creating a national overlord who'll likely be parachuted in by whichever party's in power. This reeks of eroding local accountability. The British people want bobbies who know their patch, not some appointed suit in London calling the shots for the whole country. This is camping the narrative hard. Centralise authority so it's easier to enforce whatever agenda comes down from on high. Creation of the National Police Service will form part of major police reforms the government is due to unveil on Monday, which it is casting as the biggest shake-up in policing since Robert Peel established the first professional force in 1829. Peel's reforms created local community-based policing, the very opposite of this top-down monolith. Comparing this centralised behemoth to that is like saying you're honouring the Magna Carta by shredding it. This is pure spin. They're farming nostalgia for clicks while griefing the founding principles of British policing. This take just got TKO'd by a quick glance at history. The current policing model was built for a different century. Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood, the UK's Interior Minister, said in a statement, "We will create a new national police service, dubbed the British FBI, deploying world-class talent and state-of-the-art technology to track down and catch dangerous criminals," she said, likening it to the US Federal Bureau of Investigation. This is classic loaded framing, built for a different century. Translation: the old decentralised system is outdated and must be replaced with something shinier and more controllable. Dropping phrases like world-class talent and state-of-the-art technology is pure marketing bollocks to dazzle the punters. And likening it to the FBI, the same FBI that's been caught in political scandals left, right and centre, that's not a flex, that's a warning sign. Mahmood's basically teabagging the audience with this comparison while hoping nobody notices the red flags. From where I'm standing, this is less about catching criminals and more about building a tool that can be weaponised against dissent when the winds change. There are currently 43 local police forces in England and Wales, with some holding national roles, such as the London Police, which is responsible for counter-terrorism. Mahmood said the shake-up would allow local forces to focus on dealing with everyday offences, such as shoplifting and antisocial behaviour, and catching criminals in their areas. This is the sugarcoating. Let local forces focus on everyday crime. Sounds lovely, doesn't it? But read between the lines. I'll strip the big, sexy national jobs away, leave the locals with the low-level grunt work, and slowly starve them of resources and prestige. We've seen this playbook before. Promise local empowerment, deliver hollowing out. Meanwhile, the new central beast gets the budget, the tech, and the headlines. Working class communities already feel policing is distant. This just makes it more remote. It is also expected that, as part of the changes announced on Monday, the government will cut the overall number of forces in Britain in a move to save money and reduce crime. And the cherry on top, fewer forces. Save money and reduce crime is the oldest Whitehall con in the book. Mergers rarely save a bean long term. Remember all those NHS reorganisations and crime reduction? That's a faith-based claim until proven otherwise. This smells like cost-cutting disguised as reform, with the added bonus of fewer local chief constables to push back against central diktats. This whole piece is textbook establishment propaganda. Reuters playing stenographer for the Home Office spin machine. The British FBI branding is rage bait for the law and order crowd, while quietly centralising power in a way that would make any globalist proud. It sidelines local accountability, risks politicising serious crime investigations, and ignores why the current system feels broken. Two-tier policing, woke priorities, and a refusal to get tough on actual threats like mass migration-enabled crime. Reality just ground and pounded this narrative in the opening round. Don't let these legacy media sausages farm your outrage or no-scope your common sense with shiny rebrands. Real reform starts with borders that work, police bobbies who aren't afraid to nick people, and power staying closer to the communities they serve, not further up the Whitehall food chain. Stay sharp, keep your guard up, and don't get submitted by the next round of modernisation bollocks. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Please like and subscribe and all that other good stuff, and let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you on the next one.